And welcome to From My Mother's Basement, the show that celebrates being a geek. I'm Jason, and unfortunately Michael is not joining us tonight. Reason being because his fiance, our good friend, and From My Mother's Basement's comic guru, Nikki, it is her birthday today. So they're out celebrating, and I didn't want to take away from that by saying you guys should come home and be on the show. So, happy birthday to Nikki. Hope you guys have fun, and we'll see you guys next week. But we still have tons to talk about. First off, I'm back from San Francisco helping out for the past month for Japan Expo USA. It was a very unique experience. Overall, I would say rewarding at times. So, and I'll talk more about that probably next week when Michael gets comes home and gets on the show, because he has a very unique experience from Japan Expo USA. Something that I was actually initially offered, but I turned down. And I will say it. They initially asked me to be a driver for one of the guests. And initially I was like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll be a guest. And then I realized that, I would consider myself a safe driver, but more on the aggressive side. So having a guest in the back driving a giant SUV when I drive a little tiny car, I got self-conscious, and I basically declined the offer, which is why I was in the info booth all calm long, which was fine. But Michael took over that position, and he was actually driving around none other than the mangaka and character designer of Evangelion himself, Yoshiyuki Sadamoto. So he has some stories. He actually was able to go to Pixar with them, got a tour. The things that he's seen in terms of what he was sketching and what he was doing, I'll let Michael give the whole spiel on that next week. But even though I turned it down, I'm glad I did, because me driving, yeah, but still insanely jealous. So, but the other thing is, yesterday I was actually out in the heat, as everybody on the West Coast, I guess, or mostly around the country, have been experiencing some massive heat wave. So I was out in the heat in LA at the Downtown Independent for a good reason, because there was actually going to be a delayed broadcast, but a streaming into a theater nonetheless, the latest Hatsune Miku concert. And I was actually able to go. I actually got one of these posters, which they ran out fairly quickly. So people were actually offering me money for it. I was kind of tempted at first, and I went, I'm just going to hang on to it. I'm probably going to frame it, because it's just that nice. I'll give a quick review on it. Even though it was streamed, it was in a theater, it wasn't technically live, because by the time they started broadcasting it, it was about 3 a.m. over in Japan. Absolute blast. It was an amazing experience. The community came together in a big way for this. To the point where, like, you had fellow fans who weren't there, paid to be there, but they actually came with bags and bags of extra glow sticks, so everyone could, experience it with the glow stick and cheer along, and that was a hell of a lot of fun. The style for this concert was slightly different from previous Miku concerts. Previous concert were very big on the spectacle. They would have huge sets and grandiose designs. This one, they treated it more like a physical rock concert. They would take, first up, the longest screen I've ever seen used for the projections. Usually you get maybe 2, maybe 4 projectors on a screen, like a 20 by 10 foot screen. This one was at least 50 feet long, and a total of 10 projectors behind it. They placed the band actually above the screens, the full band, including a live backing vocalist, which was kind of crazy, because on every other concert you go to for Hatsune Miku, there's always digital vocal backers. This was a live human backing Miku, and that was actually a really cool experience. But going back to the whole rock concert feel, instead of having, them just jump off stage, which there's still a little bit of that, they were actually running on and off stage like they would at an actual concert. They would actually come out in, these crazy outfits with guitars and rocking out. They would have the guitars come out in front of the screen and rock out, and it worked great. At least on the screen for the stream, it looked fantastic. So, you guys missed out. This is one that I'm going to say, if you haven't ordered a Blu-ray concert yet, you either want to get this one when they start, when they announce pre-orders, or get the one from earlier this year, the Mikupa in Kansai. That one was a little special because they decided to do 39 songs, so the concert was over 3.5 hours long. This concert itself was only 2 hours long, but still an absolutely fantastic event. I met a lot of great people there. Some people were actually bringing their cameras to record it. I decided not to bring any recording equipment this time because I wanted to enjoy this as a fan. But because of that, I was able to talk to a bunch of cool people outside. Met a fan named Justin. He was actually watching back from the AX Live days. And he actually brought his camera and he recorded a bunch of footage. He's going to be posting that up on his YouTube page. You want to check this out. It's youtube.com/VocaloidMMD34. He has a bunch of great game walkthroughs that he's been working on. He hasn't, as far as I can tell, put up the concert footage yet, or just the footage of all of us hanging out and talking. But hopefully it will be up soon. Go check that out. Go say hi to Justin. And maybe subscribe to his page as well. Some cool stuff on there. All right. But let's get into some news. And, you know, because it's just me today, we're going to start off with some anime news. We're not going to wait till Anna Break on Wednesday. If you guys were watching Toonami last night, you might have noticed that the lineup was a little different because it started off with Toonami debuting Eva 2.22, the second movie. And even though I have it on Blu-ray, I still watched it. For one, I was up. Two, I want to support, Toonami and get, more interest in it. And three, it's still a fun movie. I mean, yes, it had commercials now, but it was still enjoyable. They were announcing that there was going to be a special surprise at the end. I had to laugh at some of the suggestions that people had online regarding to what that surprise could be. Everything from just the simple trailer for 3.0, which actually has been shown in U.S. screens already in a couple places, to it would be Hideaki Anno in Asuka's plug suit dancing the Macarena. The internet is a very weird place. No, but the surprise was actually Kick Heart. This was actually a crowd-funded video that was actually put on in part by Production IG. This was actually really cool to see this because I backed the Kick Heart Kickstarter less than a year ago, just a few months ago, I think it was. And to see something that I helped fund already make its way to US TV, that's an amazing feeling. And then, of course, I mean, it's only like 15 minutes long. It's still worth it. You guys can find more information on Kick Heart online. I'm hoping this means that we'll start getting more people or more companies interested in bringing stuff to Toonami and to US television in general. That'd be nice to have. Moving on, kind of a sad bit of news, that Studio Ghibli has by and far created some of the most memorable anime movies in history, in my mind. And of course, the main person behind it, the person who's directed most of their amazing feature films, Hayao Miyazaki, has made the announcement that he is going to retire from making feature films. The Wind Rises, his last film, is going to be his last directorial piece. Now, this does not mean that he's going to stop from directing entirely. This is also made the announcement that there's the possibility of him working on short films, small projects, maybe some other endeavors within Studio Ghibli itself. But as far as the major feature films, he's out. He's going to step aside, which makes you wonder who's really going to take over in that position. His son hasn't done all that well. There are a few other people who have directed Ghibli films in the past that have done great work. Maybe they will stay with Ghibli and take over. I'm glad that Miyazaki stayed in one form or another, just for the sole fact that if anything, if he's not going to direct it, he can at least mentor some of these other directors and still retain that classic Ghibli feel. So, here's hoping. I mean, massive props to this guy for the work he's done for years. And at 72, I think he deserves to retire for a bit, or at least step back a little bit. So, Okay, let's go. Let's end the anime stuff on a happy note. We've talked about it before, both on From My Mother's Basement and on Anna Break. Shinichiro Watanabe's latest anime project called Space Dandy was recently announced. They had a bunch of great stills from the upcoming series at their booth at Japan Expo USA. They showcased a trailer at Otakon earlier this year. But I believe that promotional trailer has actually finally made its way to the internet, like an official one through Bandai Visual. So let's go ahead and watch that, shall we? That is Space Dandy. So the story revolves around Dandy, the alien hunter, which is his job is to seek out new alien species never seen before, to which he actually gets a reward for every time he finds a new species. So it's like they said in the chat, if it was Captain Kirk, he was pretty darn dandy. Yeah. So his his crew consists of a robot called QT. Calls himself a very powerful vacuum cleaner, but in reality they're calling him a bucket of bolts Roomba. And a dimwit alien called Meow. That's just his name, Meow. So we are unfortunately not going to get any, footage. We're not going to get an actual episode of this until 2014. But the fact that, Studio Bones, along with Shinichiro Watanabe and the entire crew working on this, has this mentality of, we're just going to have make a comedy in space and we're just going to have fun with this. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. So look out for more information about that as we get closer to the launch date in January. But let's move on. Let's talk about some movies, American movies. Let's talk about what the internet has been, for lack of a better phrase, bitching about for the past week. Ben Affleck. He has been announced as the successor to Christian Bale. He will be playing Batman in the upcoming Men of Steel 2 Batman vs. Superman. And it is funny, like, the internet seems to be split on this. I mean, on one end, you have people saying the guys at Marvel must be laughing their asses off right now. Even though on the other side of the coin, you have Joss Whedon, which is like their messiah right now, saying, you know what? He's going to crush it. He's got the chops. He's got the chin. He just needs the material. A lot of people are, of course, raging on this, stating that look at Daredevil, for crying out loud. He sucked so bad in that. Why would you give him Batman? It's gotten so bad to the point where there's a petition on change.org to remove Ben Affleck as Batman. To date, it has over 87,000 signatures. Little extreme. Here's my view on this. If you're going to take an actor's worst movie, whether not taking into effect box office revenue, just in overall reviews, some of their worst acting roles to date, and then you're going to focus on that while it's now 10-15 years later, and you think that he's going to bring that same style of performance. I loved him in Argo. I loved him in a lot of great stuff recently. I think he's going to be just fine. Given, I gotta say right now, Patton Oswalt on his Facebook page has a magnificent post that explains in detail why he will be just fine with this. Hell, 3 out of the 4 previous Batmans have already voiced their support for him on Twitter. I forget what the 4th one was, but 3 out of the 4 have actually voiced their approval. And of course, this has brought along a slew of jokes and memes, most also including Matt Damon as Robin, which he's already come out and said, no, I will not be Robin. In fact, I'm older than Affleck, so that wouldn't work. I don't think Robin was ever older than Batman, or even close to being as old as Batman. So, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, it was Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, and Adam West that voiced their support. Christian Bale has yet to say anything, so. But honestly, I think the best way for Affleck to respond to this, because he has yet to respond, and he probably won't for quite some time, his best response, he filmed years ago in a little movie called Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And I think it describes in perfect detail what all these people, he describes all these people who are bitching about his role as Batman. Enjoy.
Wish I held onto a little piece of that thing, because the buzz is any indicator, that movie's gonna make some huge bank.
What buzz?
The internet buzz.
What the fuck is the internet?
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share pornography with one another. Here's what we're looking for, moviepoopshoot.com.
Poop shoot. Yeah.
This is a site populated by militant movie buffs, sad, pathetic little bastards living in their parents' basement, downloading scripts and what they think is inside information about movies and actors they claim to despise yet can't stop discussing. Okay, this is about Blunt Man and Chronic right here. Inside sources tell me Miramax is starting production this Friday on their adaptation of it.
It's so perfect. He doesn't have to make any response. He just needs to point to that video clip, and that's it. He's going to do a great job. That movie is going to probably make tons of money. To people think, Ben Affleck is no Batman whatsoever. I mean, people who have played Batman in the past, I never agreed with. George Clooney. I'm sorry about that. But overall, I think he would probably do a fine job. It all boils down to actually the script, the content. If that is actually well written and works well within the universe, the movie universe, I should state, it'll be just fine. Now, if the script sucks, Ben Affleck will be crucified. Not the writer, but oh well. All right, but let's talk about some other movie news in the comic world. Stuff on the Marvel side. It already was announced that James Spader is actually going to be casted as the villain in the Avengers 2 Age of Ultron. I think that'll be a good fit. But they also made another announcement for Guardians of the Galaxy. If you've looked online or if you were at Comic-Con, you saw the trailer they put together. And they had one scene of Rocket Raccoon being a badass, shooting at people off screen. It looked amazing. Great CG work. But no word yet who's going to be voicing the character. Well, we finally have the announcement that Bradley Cooper is actually going to be voicing this character. And I look at this and I'm going, that could possibly work. In the sense that I think he has enough acting chops to bring to the role. Now, if people are wondering, but how he's going to handle the accent, because the more recent comics, it seems like Rocket Raccoon has almost like a Cajun, maybe just a straight French accent. I think that could possibly roll off. I mean, some people might say, oh, we might pull it off more like a Gambit. You know what? I think that'll be just fine for the character, because you also have to remember that even though these movies are going to take most of their content from the comics, it is not a verbatim, carbon copy of the comic universe. So if they make small tweaks and changes here and there, that's fine. Now, if it just becomes Bradley Cooper's regular voice, I may have a problem with that. But that's just me. So we'll find out more about this. Who else? They've already announced some of the characters already. I want to see a pic of the full cast. I want to see an actual full trailer. I doubt we're going to get that anytime soon, but you never know. I think it would be a good choice, and all that's left we can do right now is wait. That deserves a testify. Okay, time to talk tech. There was a leak a couple days ago, and it's based on a Samsung product. And of course, they've been hyping the Samsung Galaxy S4. They're going to announce, I think, the Tab 3 or the Tab 4 very soon. But that's not the only piece of technology that they've been working on. In this leak by the guys over at VentureBeat, look at the Samsung Galaxy Gear smartwatch. This is a prototype that's been, the presentation has been leaked ahead of Samsung's presentation, which was supposed to happen about 4 days from now. So it wasn't a major leak that got this months in advance. We all knew that all the major companies were working on some sort of wearable computing ever since the Pebble became a success. And of course, Google's been promoting the hell out of Google Glass, at least in the tech industry. You know that every other company is working on something. Samsung obviously has one right there. We know Apple's working on some sort of wearable device. But now we have the first glimpse of the prototype of what Samsung is cooking. To me, I look at this and it looks very clunky. I mean, that's a very large... I mean, it's a large screen, but that bevel is huge. I mean, for a handheld device, that bevel's not bad at all. But for a watch, unless you are a very, very tall and or big fella, that is going to look ridiculous on your watch. I mean, I look at it as, I have this pack of Eclipse gum. I'm guessing that's going to be about the same. So if I try to put that on my arm, I don't know. That's going to be huge. Now, yes, it's going to be a touch screen. It has a camera built into it. Why would you need a camera on your watch? I have no idea. It has a ton of preloaded health applications, including heart and calorie monitors, a pedometer. Apparently, you can use the camera to take pictures of food and categorize it for later review. What's the matter of taking your phone out and doing the game? Or just remember. Anyways. I guess Samsung's trying to go down the health route for this, but does that really tie in with everything else they've been promoting? Like, their phone and their tablet? I don't know. We'll find out more information on September 4th. I'm going to be surprised if they try to sell this for more than, say, $150. Because maybe they might try to justify a $200 mark just because it has a color touchscreen and a bunch of other features that, say, the Pebble smartwatch doesn't have. Which I'm fine with what the Pebble can do. Granted, it does not do everything, but what it does great. I don't need a camera, a pedometer, all the stuff on my watch. I have my phone to tie into Bluetooth for that. But that's just me. We'll find out some more in the next few days, and we'll probably give you a full rundown on next week's episode of From My Mother's Basement. Going back to some news we talked about on Anna Break on Wednesday regarding the Nintendo 2DS. This is not a fake product. This is not a joke product. This is a legit product that Nintendo is going to release this October for a reduced price of $129.99. Essentially, they're calling this is a slate format. You cannot fold it in half like you can with any of the DS's prior. It can play all Nintendo 3DS games, but only in 2D. There's no 3D aspect. Plus, they brought in, because they are the king of backwards compatibility in the entire video game market, it can play all 2,000 plus regular Nintendo DS games. And I have to say, there are some great regular DS games out there. So it's kind of cool that they're going to, go for that market. And I think, after thinking about it for a while, they'll probably sell a decent amount. Just because from everybody who's been talking online about it, it seems to be, it fits very well in your hand. There was a shot taken online at PAX this weekend in comparison to a 3DS. So you can see it's relatively the same size. But you wonder, why would they choose for this form factor? Well, we found out that they can't put a hinge on this. Why? Because both screens are actually technically one screen. That's kind of the crazy thing. In order to cut costs, that entire screen is technically two screens, just the outer packaging actually makes it look like it's two. Which makes you wonder, okay, if the bottom screen is supposed to be a touchscreen, does that mean the top screen is a touchscreen too? Technically, yes. Both screens are a touchscreen. But they prevent gamers from actually utilizing the touch features on the top screen by putting a layer of clear plastic over it. This kind of put this device into my realm of maybe for future projects, not for gaming, because if that entire thing is a touch screen and the only thing that's blocking it is a piece of plastic, I would probably want to buy one in the future just so I can tinker with it and see what I can do with it. So a kind of interesting bit of news on that. I guess that saves them money somehow. I mean, the whole 3D aspect in the Nintendo 3DS couldn't be that expensive. It's a piece of film that they move up and down, right? I don't know. It could be. Yeah, it could be that. It could be something different. I still need to get a handheld one or the other. I'm still on the fence between the two. I'm starting to lean towards a PS Vita, just because I wanted to get Project Diva F on the Vita. But the thing is, I already have it for the PS3, and the only difference between this version and the Vita version is about 6 songs. So we'll see. It's still up in the air for me on that. But I have one more bit of news for us to talk about, and it's actually, yes, dog, that's right. It's going to be a new Kickstarter for you guys to follow. And I'm just going to play the video so you guys understand how cool this is and why you guys should support this now. That's it. It's a spiritual successor to the Mega Man franchise. It is not Mighty Number 9. And I have to say, I am looking forward to this. If you guys haven't backed this yet, you need to, like, now. I look at this, the design, I mean, it's classic Mega Man style. He has many of the crew that worked on several of the classic Mega Man titles along with him on this piece. Just with, different characters, slightly different storyline. Like I said, a bunch of new innovative features. I think it's going to be an amazing piece that now that he is no longer restricted and confined by Capcom, he can go out and do whatever he wants. Everything he wanted to do before, he can actually work on. So, I mean, right now, instead of playing, of course, Mega Man, you're going to play Beck, the 9th in the line of powerful robots. I wonder where the first 8 were. And the only one not infected by a mysterious computer virus that has caused mechanized creatures the world over to go berserk. So, yeah, this actually looks really cool. And if you guys haven't checked this out, you need to head over to the Kickstarter page. All you need to do is go to Kickstarter.com, do a search for Mighty Number 9, and if you wanted to be part of, like, just the beta testing forum, just talk with people, get some cool online goodies, it's $5. If you want a digital copy of this game when it comes out, it's $20. That's it, $20. It's so worth it. I mean, this was just launched earlier today, a few hours ago. They're asking for $900,000. And honestly, with the massive number of fans that he has amassed over the years, I don't think he's going to have a problem hitting that and definitely exceeding that. Because with only a few hours, that I would say actually, yeah, just a few hours since launch, he has 11,545 backers and a total of $680,856. I think he's going to hit his goal and a lot more. Now, he has a number of great pledge offerings. Like I said, $20 is just getting you the digital copy. If you want, like, the retro style game manual digital art book, it's $40. If you want, like, a physical retail copy of this when it comes out, it's $60, which is not a bad deal. They have stuff, you get shirts, t-shirts, signed hardcover art books. Although I do like some of the higher level ones, like if you pledge $1,000 or more, you can get your voice in the ending theme song. I mean, stuff like that. If you pledge $5,000 or more, you can help design one of the enemies that's going to appear in this game. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Although, I do have to say the top tier is actually quite nice. If you're one of the people who has a lot of disposable income in which to support this, if you pledge $10,000 or more, you will get dinner and drinks, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Kenji Inafune. I think that's kind of worth it. If you have that kind of disposable income, that's so worth it. You guys should check that out. But again, head over to Kickstarter.com, search for Mighty Number 9, and back this the moment you can. All right, well, as always, we usually wrap these things up with what we've been watching. And the past few days, aside from going to the Miku concert at the Downtown Independent, I've been playing a crap load of Project Diva F for the PS3, to the point where I've unlocked all the songs that are available. I've locked a number of the outfits. I'm still working on buying all of them right now. I was able to get through everything on normal mode. I'm currently working my way through all the songs on hard mode. And I must say, the difficulty jump between easy, normal, hard, and extreme is challenging is an understatement. I was like, I got pretty good in the normal mode. And then I jumped to hard mode, and I'm starting to get it. I have a few songs I've followed so far. And then last night, for shits and giggles, I was like, okay, let's see if I can do one of the basic songs on extreme mode. Died in 4 seconds. It is absolutely insane, but it's the kind of insane that you're like, wow, that's really hard. But you, at the same time, know that you can actually work at it and probably get to that level in a relatively small amount of time. So I definitely like the fact that it is challenging. It's still enjoyable. So I'm going to be still playing the crap out of this and recommending this to everybody. At least until Final Fantasy XIV fixes their server issues, then I will buy an actual copy and jump on that. So, if I hear another friend complain about error 1070 world is full, everyone has that problem trying to get into that game right now. I know that Vocaloid version 3 is out and available right now. It is $150. It is download only at this point for the US English side. The Japanese side is also, I think, like $150, but they include multiple voice packs. I mean, it's not, Luca, Rinlin, stuff like that. It's the different styles of voices, like happy, sad, remorse, all those type that they've been working on for the Miku voice pack for a while now. The Japanese side is getting those. The American English side is only getting the single regular Miku voice pack, which is still cool. But if I'm going to pay $150, I will probably grab the Japanese side. Now, it has already been stated online that in the future they will offer a joint box set of the two. I have no idea how much that's going to cost, if it's going to be available download or retail, and when it will be released. But I will find out and let you guys know, just as soon as I let Michael know as well, so we can both buy it. But I think that's going to be it for this episode from My Mother's Basement. Again, sorry that Michael or Nikki could make it to this episode. It is Nikki's birthday. Happy birthday to you, Nikki. Nikki and or Michael will be back for another episode next week, next Sunday at 5 p.m. Of course, you can catch Anna Break every Wednesday at 7 p.m. over at annabreak.com. And stay tuned for a post show. We got a couple of videos you guys have already given me. It should be entertaining. So, from Mother's Basement, I'm Jason. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.